Hi there, welcome back to my channel Scrap and Coffee. My name is Ivanka and in this video we are continuing with the Simple Life Folio. We've already made a cover and our base and first layer of the folio, and today we're going to start on the second layer. We're going to start out with 3 pieces of cardstock and a piece of acetate that I still need to cut because I want to check the size for it. And we are going to do some measuring and cutting out some angles. So yeah, let's see how we go. We are going to use our pieces I, J and K if you have the cutting guide. If you don't have the cutting guide, you can write down your measurements if you want to. I will be naming them out. And if you want to have the convenience of the cutting guide, you can find the link down below in my description box. Sorry, in the description box towards my Etsy shop, where you for a small amount can buy the cutting guide that provides you with all the measurements of your pieces of cardstock and where to score them and your pieces of acetate, etc. So let's start with these pieces. We are going to do some scoring. So we start with piece I, that is 8 1/8 of an inch in height, and it's 7.5 inches in width. And with that 7.5 inches along the top of your scoreboard, we are going to score at 6 1/8 of an inch and at 7 inches. We're just going to do all 3 pieces so we have it done. Then for piece J, this one measures 6 1/8 of an inch in width, 9 1/8 of an inch in height actually, and we are going to align the 9 1/8 of an inch along the top of our scoreboard, and we're going to score at 1/2 inch and 8 5/8 of an inch. And then last up for now we have piece K, and piece K is 7 1/8 of an inch by 5 1/8 of an inch. So with the 7 1/8 of an inch on top, we're going to score 1/2 inch, 6 5/8 of an inch, and then with the 5 1/8 of an inch, you're going to score 1/2 inch, or what I do is 4 5/8 of an inch. That is basically the same thing. Okay, piece I, we are going to apply some tape on the indented side between the cut edge and that first 1/2 inch score line. This is going to be our base page. So I'm going to apply my tape, and I will be folding towards the bumpy side of my score lines, both of them. We can just have that prepared. And I will angle that 1/2 inch a little bit. So just above the score line, place your scissors and cut with an angle towards the cut edge. That's just for hiding construction again. So this is prepared. We're going to put it to the side. We are going to work on piece J. Now we're going to turn piece J over to the bumpy side, where we can see the bumpy sides of the score lines. And like I said, we're going to do some measuring and drawing some lines on here. And on the long sides, I'm going to draw a line 3/4 of an inch from the cut edge. So on this piece, we are going to draw some lines, make some angles to get the piece to look the way we want it to look. So 3/4 of an inch from the cut edge. And I just like to use the grid of my ruler, right, to line all of that up. So on the long side. And once we've done that, I just feel that, is that 3/4 of an inch? Yeah, this should be 4 5/8 of an inch. The space between the pencil lines should be 4 5/8 of an inch. Well, that's correct. So, okay, I did it right. So next up, I'm going to use the score lines as my point to measure stuff out. So I'm going to find here a little bit of a white gel marker to mark out where my score line is. So hopefully you see it a little better. That works, right? Okay, so from the score line here, I'm going to measure on the cut edge 5/8 of an inch onto the piece. And I will do the same thing on this side. So from the score line, 5/8 of an inch from the piece. And then on the pencil line that we've made, we are going to again measure from the score line 1 inch. So we mark that on that pencil line and we start measuring at the score line. 1 inch. And then what we will be doing is connecting those pencil lines with each other. Those marks that we've made. Like that. And then I will do the same thing on the other side. So I'm measuring 5/8 of an inch on the cut edge. Starting at my score line for 5/8 and then on the pencil line 1 inch again from the score line. So what I will try to do is to make a little diagram of this in the cutting guide, so you have a little reference to go back on if you're not sure. And then again I will connect it. Okay, and now what we are going to do is we are going to cut out this part on both sides. So I'm going to get a pokey tool and I'm going to poke a little hole. And now let me do another check before I mess this up. So the space here should be about 6 1/8 of an inch from the hole that I've poked towards the other hole that I've just poked. 6 1/8 of an inch, that's about right. Okay, that's good. I did my math right. Okay, getting a ruler with a non-slip back, I'm going to put the point of my blade in that first hole. Line up my ruler along that line and cut. And then right here along the diagonal, you can also use scissors, right? It's whatever you prefer. Okay, and once we've got on all 3 lines, this should come out like this. So let's do the same thing on that side. Okay, so those pieces are out. This can go in the garbage. And yeah, we can turn it over to the indented side now. That was actually all that we had to do. So on the indented side right now, we are going to apply some tape along the cut edge and between our score lines on both sides, top and bottom. And we can fold towards the bumpy side on both score lines. And we are also going to taper, so you can do that now, you can do that after you've done your folding. Get rid of those small pieces. Fold. Burnish. So I want to prepare my piece K before, so we're going to prepare all 3 pieces and then we're going to put it together. I think that's the easiest way to work. So for piece K, again turn it over to where you have the bumpy side of your score lines. And we are going to make a frame in this piece, 5/8 inch frame. We have been doing it before. So again, from my score lines, I'm going to measure 5/8 of an inch inwards. Or you measure 1 1/8 of an inch from the cut edge. That should be the same thing. Depends on how good you can see your score lines, right? Sometimes they're a little tricky to see. And on the side where you don't have a score line, you measure 5/8 of an inch from the cut edge. Okay, so we've made that frame. I know it's hard with the light to catch it, but there we go. And then we are going to cut out that center part. So on my intersections, again, I just like to do a little, make a little hole there. And cut on the lines from intersection to intersection. So the holes that I've made, I really feel where to stop cutting, and I put the point of my blade in that hole. So it makes it a little easier as well to see how far you need to go, or actually you feel it. And then that should be out. Yes, nice. So now I need to measure quickly the acetate, because I just wasn't sure about my own mat at forehand. Yes, perfect. 5 5/8 of an inch by 4 1/8 of an inch. And this was a piece, apparently I did something wrong on it, because there was already a little bit of tape along one of the edges. So I could reuse that nicely here. So I put some 1/4 inch tape around the perimeter of the acetate. Okay, so on the bumpy side we are going to place our piece of acetate where we have a little bit of a black border on the inside of the frame. That is, of course, if you're using 1/4 inch tape, right? Oh, that was all. Just wanted to continue. So just hover it above it where you're sure you have that little bit of black border, and we don't go over our score lines. And then we can flip it back to the indented side, and we are going to place our tape on the 3 sides with a score line. Okay, a good burnish there. And then here where we have the intersection of score lines, we are going to cut with a 45-degree angle straight through that intersection to reduce bulk. And for this one we are also going to taper the top of the 1/2 inch, so that's not going to stick out in places where we don't want to see it. That's just a different way of saying we're hiding construction. So fold towards the bumpy side on all 3 score lines, and then let's see if we can put this together, if we did everything right. Okay, so the pocket is gonna go on top of piece J. So I'm going to place piece J flat on my work surface. Flat? Did I say flat? Flat. And I'm going to have the opening on the right hand side and the bottom of the pocket on the left hand side. And what we should be able to do is line up the corners of the pocket with where the angle starts. I hope that makes sense. And that should also line up there nicely. And I didn't do my job too bad. I'm a little low there. But let's not forget, before I attached it, I need to place some pattern paper there. Ooh, so I need to select some pattern paper. And right here we can start with a clean sleeve of paper choices that we want to use. And I was thinking that for the back of layer 1 and the front of layer 2, I want to stay away from the butterflies a little bit, because we have been doing that quite a bit to say the safest thing. But I was thinking of maybe using this brown a little bit, because then I can really easily go towards this pattern once we flip layer 2 over. I hope that makes sense right now, but you will see eventually. So let's see, what else do we have that we can combine with a little bit of that brown. I also have, oh, this one. Yeah, I think I'm going to use this brown here. So what do I need? Because we don't have to cover this whole thing unless you want to see this pattern as well behind your frame. But I think I'm just going to do a picture or something else. So I'm going to cut pieces that are let's say 1¼ 2 pieces that are 1¼ by 6. Okay, now we know that this is 5/8 of an inch here, so I'm gonna go and mark 1/2 inch from the bottom. So let's check if I have that there. Yes, and that's 3/4 of an inch inwards. So let's go, I mark on the top 3/4 of an inch and also on the bottom. And then there, that's an inch, so I should measure 7/8 of an inch. So on this line, so I'm just making tick marks so I don't have to erase too much. So 3/4 of an inch from the shortcut edge. I'm just using my grid here, and then I mark 7/8 of an inch. Wait, let's measure that properly in a way that I can do that decently. So I just don't want to mess it up. 7/8 of an inch. And then I connect the marks. I will probably, and then just go up there. Okay, so let's do that again. So on the short side, I'm going to go 3/4 of an inch inwards. Let's see, that's 3/4 of an inch inwards. And I need to make sure that I've marked my 1/2 inch from the left hand side now. That's the bottom of my piece. So from that side, I know it might be a little confusing, but from the side that is the bottom of your piece, you're going to measure. So I have 3/4 of an inch lined up with the short edge, and then I'm going to measure from the bottom of my piece 7/8 of an inch towards the top, so towards the other long side, right? So 7/8 of an inch, and I connect that mark with the mark that made 1/2 inch there, and then I can just again line it up with the 3/4 inch of my ruler and bring it towards the top completely. So got on your lines. That looks pretty good. Okay. Okay, don't forget to remove any pencil lines that might still be visible. And ink the piece up, at least I'm inking the piece up. I just think it's easier to do it now than cutting and measuring everything out after you done put the pocket on. It also reduces the amount of black that you see in between your pattern papers. Okay, so we've inked it up. I already did the other piece. And now we are going to glue our pattern paper in place. I'm just using my art glitter glue to put pattern paper on. I go along the edges and I fill in the middle a little bit, and I'm using a fine tip, so it's not a lot of glue. It's a strong glue, you don't need a lot. So I'm trying to even out my borders. And I always burnish my pattern paper to smooth out the glue underneath, so we don't see those crazy glue ripples at the end. right? So the same thing here. Okay. And then it doesn't really matter for me what is top and bottom now. Again, if you have directional paper, that might be different. And then we are going to place our pocket on. And let's see if I can get my acetate a little cleaned up. I can do the outside later. So it's a little tricky. We're going to try to align those corners to our best ability. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of wet glue for some wiggle time along the, what basically is the bottom of the pocket. And I might turn my piece so I can see what I'm doing a little bit better. So I align it along that cut edge and I try to give myself a little bit of a checkpoint there. Now I see that my pocket is probably a hair. Oh no, that's just a pattern paper that's messing with my head here. I thought that my pocket was a hair long, but it's all good. So, some tape there. That's just something that I do, right? It's up to you if you want to do the same thing, yes or no. And then I can remove my tape backings here. And stick those down. Okay, so we have that in place, and then this whole piece we are going to go all the way back to our piece I that we've made in the beginning, and we are going to attach it on here. Now, in the case that your papers are directional, you want to have your folds and your tape on the left hand side, and you're going to fold in both score lines, and then it should line up from side to side. But if it's easier for you to get your piece flat, for me that's easier, but you're just going to go up to that second score line here. Don't go over that one. Well, if you stick out a little bit, it's not going to make it less functional or anything, but it should all fit on there. So this might be a little tricky again to get it all completely straight into place. Maybe I should have removed my tape backing just a little bit. That would also have worked. A little bit of wet glue for some wiggle time. It's really not a lot. Sometimes I just like to use this bone folder to keep my piece even more flat. And I start here in the right hand corner. And bring it along the bottom. I'm not sure how I like this pattern on there actually. We'll see how it goes. I hate it if I have to do pattern paper beforehand. But hey, it's my own design. So you can only blame yourself. But don't be surprised if I just come back with a completely different piece. Because I just redid it because I didn't like the pattern paper. That might happen. Because I don't like to settle for things that I don't like. But probably we will be going with a paper like this behind the belly band. Because basically this is a really large belly band. But I might need a larger pattern, so it's also possible that I will go towards my 12 by 12 paper for it, because I don't want my patterns to be in the same size. Another option is to go for, but this is not gonna fit now, right? With this pattern there as well. I just see that now. What makes it look like a frame on top of a frame. So I might give that a try as well and see how that looks. I have the other one. Don't I have the other one here? Yeah. I'll probably need to get some extra papers for this, the way that I'm doing all this decorating. That can work, and then a different pattern here. And we're done on this page. That can work, because it's a little inconvenient, but behind the belly band, 9 out of 10 times, I just place paper completely, because if you're going to do strips, and then you want to slide a photo mat or something that you have behind that belly band, it's just, you're going to bump up against your paper edges, and it's just not so nice in use. So I always put completely, cover it with paper completely behind the belly band. I think I like this. It always makes me feel better, already makes me feel better about the pattern choice there. So I'm just going to leave this piece behind it for now. Let it grow on me a little bit. And we have to go to the back of this layer. But one little problem. I don't know what we're gonna do. So I'm going to figure it out. And then I'll be back. Okay, we're going to be working on the back of layer 2. Now you might notice that I changed the light a little bit. I've toned it down because I feel that it was maybe a little too bright. Yeah, I'm learning, so I'm sorry if it was too bright in that first half. I think this is just fine, so I hope this is better. But I don't really see it until I edit my video, so I'm sorry if it was too bright. Yeah, again, I'm learning. But for the back of layer 2, we are going to use our pieces L and M and a piece of acetate. Okay, piece L is 9 1/8 of an inch by 3 1/4. And with the 9 1/8 of an inch on top, you're just going to score 1/2 inch and 8 5/8 of an inch. And with the 3 1/4 inch on top, we are going to score 2 3/4. For piece M, also 9 1/8 of an inch, this time by 2 1/4. So for piece L, I'm going to turn it to the bumpy side. I've drawn a frame, but this time for a U-shaped acetate window. So I only draw my lines on the 3 sides with a score line. And I did the same size frame, 5/8 of an inch. So on the 3 sides with a score line, you measure 5/8 of an inch from the score line, or 1 1/8 of an inch from your cut edge. And once you've done that on the 3 sides, we can cut that out. So because we've been doing it a couple of times now, I don't feel like I need to go over every single detail as much. And I'm going to cut on our 3 pencil lines from intersection to intersection. Yep. And I like to start cutting at the intersection of my pencil lines on these short sides towards the cut edge. I feel that gives me a better result than start cutting at the cut edge. And then that should be out. Now we have a pretty flimsy piece here, right? And I've got a piece of acetate that was 7 5/8 of an inch by 2 1/2. Yes. And I did 1/4 inch tape on the 2 short sides and on the long side. And we are going to align it like this, where the side that doesn't have any tape is going to line up with the cut edge here to our best ability, right? So it's, for me it works best if I place it this way, and then I remove my tape backing on the long side, and on the short side that goes on top. That way I can still move my piece around here a little bit without it sticking down, so I can line that up with the cut edge there. Hold that in place and then bring it there. And once it's lined up, I drop it, and then I need to peel that tape backing away here still. There we go. Burnish the tape for a good stick. You see the color changing? That's when you did a good job. Okay. Turn it back to the indented side and we can place our tape on the 3 sides with a score line. Okay, so once that's on there, again give that a burnish as well and miter. So cut with that 45-degree angle straight through the intersection of those score lines. And then you can fold and burnish on your score lines as well. So we have this piece completely prepared. Okay, and then I will also prepare, and I'm kind of thinking, is it gonna work what I want to do? I feel like I need to do that different. Because if I'm going to do this technique, we're going to have that showing. That's not gonna work, huh? No, it's not. Okay, so I'm going to prepare a new piece M. Okay, that's how it goes sometimes. You kind of figure out while you're going that things don't work. So a new piece M, your piece M should be 9 1/8 of an inch by 5 inches. 9 1/8 inch side, score 1/2 inch. 8 5/8 of an inch. And then on the 5 inch side, 1/2 inch. Or I like to do that on my right hand side, so that's 4 1/2. So we're just going to make this into a large pocket. So no frames, etc. on this one. We are just going to apply our tape on the 3 sides with a score line. Give it a burnish. And we're gonna miter the corners again. And fold. Okay, so we're going to attach our piece M first. So we're going to get our layer 2 in. This is what we've been working on. We're going to flip it over. Our folds are going to end up on the right hand side. And that's also where we're going to place the bottom of piece M. It's going to go up against that first score line that we have here. So don't go on top of it, just go up to the score line there. Oh, I just bite my tongue. That's great. I'll try to show it up close when it's on there, but I hope it makes sense as well. So if you're not completely comfortable, you can add a little bit of wet glue. It's not much. It won't be enough for attaching it with the wet glue only, but it's just so I can lift it if I'm not happy. So just along that score line, and I like to use my side here for a little check. And once I'm happy, I'm going to give that a good burnish. Let's close that glue up. And I'm going to do some tape on that attachment there again. So again, I do that because I don't place my pattern paper all the way to the bottom, and this just makes it a little easier to slide my photo mats, etc. all the way down the bottom of the pocket. So then we can attach our sides as well. So with large pockets, you might want to push it down in the middle and then bring it to the side. But we also don't want it to become too tight, but this is perfect. And then the other piece, that was piece L, it's gonna go on top, and we're going to line up the bottom and the sides. But let me try to show you. The score line is still visible there. It's always tricky to catch that, but yeah, I hope it makes sense. So this one we're going to align along the bottom and the sides of piece M. Now probably in this pocket I will be... Did I just remove all my tape backing? I did. I never do that, but I wasn't thinking. So I'm going to try to stick it down as best as I can now. I'm not doing my tape along the bottom because I probably have to put my pattern paper all the way to the bottom anyway. So I had something in my mind for this page design on pattern paper. I have this paper. So what I was thinking of, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get away with it, is to cut a 1/2 inch strip there, the 1/2 inch strip here, and here to kind of make that still look like the frame, and then have this middle part in the pocket, but I'm not sure if I can make it, or maybe I just need to place this in the pocket, maybe cut off a hair or something on the side. I'm gonna see that frame a little bit, right? So see how you have a little bit of trouble going all the way to the bottom. With that piece of tape that I place, I kind of get rid of that. See, so that's not completely going to fit if I do what I just said. Or if I cut off 1/2 inch. Yeah, but that's not gonna look good. So I probably have to do something like this. But I also have in my 12 by 12 paper a pattern that looks like that. And then maybe just add some wood grain, because I don't know if I like it that we're going to see that border. So we'll see. I want to do something where we have a nice image showing completely over the behind the acetate frame as well. So this is the back of layer 2. We can finish up decorating at least the front of this one and the back of layer 1, and then we can construct layer 3, and probably well, if I know what I want to do here, I will just adjust my decorating of layer 3 on this one. So we can continue with some decorating. So yeah, I'm going to do my best to get the decorating on video, although I am really bound on time for making videos. So I will continue with getting the construction on camera for sure, and then I'll see how far I get with getting some decorating on camera as well. Maybe make it a little bit of a process video to show you some techniques if I really get yeah, if it's really going to be tricky to find enough time for it. But yeah, so we'll see how that goes. I would like to get some decorating on camera for you guys, but constructing is more important, I guess. So yeah, well, I will go on to constructing layer 3, and for you, I'm not sure, maybe there is a decorating video in between, but we'll see. So I want to at least thank you for watching up to this point, and yeah, I hope you continue the journey with me, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.